Well, good afternoon again. This is Kurt Beckett, Chair of the Energy Facility Siting Evaluation Council, calling this meeting to order. And Ms. Grantham, would you call the roll, please?
Certainly, Chair. Department of Commerce,
Elizabeth Osborne, present.
Department of Ecology,
Eli Levitt, present.
Department of Fish and Wildlife,
Kate Pamplin, present.
Department of Natural Resources,
Lenny Young, present.
Utilities and Transportation Commission,
Stacy Brewster, present.
for local government and optional state agencies for the Hop Hill Solar Project for Benton County, Paul Crouppen. For Carriger Solar, Clickitat County, Matt Childs.
Matt Childs, present.
For Wallula Gap for Benton County, Adam File.
Adam File is here.
For Golden Eye Bess for Skagit County, Robbie Eckroth.
Robbie Eckroth here.
For Assistant Attorney Generals, John Thompson,
I am here.
Zach Packer,
Present.
and Talia Tuitt.
Present.
Do we have any administrative law judges present? Hearing none. Council staff, I will call those who are anticipated to possibly speak today. Sonia Bumpus,
Present.
Amy Hofkemeyer,
Present.
Amy Moon,
Amy Moon, present.
Sarah Randolph,
Present.
Lance Caputo,
Present.
John Barnes,
Present.
Joanne Snarsky.
Present.
Moving on to operational updates for Kittitas Valley Wind,
Jared Cassidy, present.
Wild Horse Wind Power Project,
Jennifer Galbraith, present.
Grace Harbor Energy Center,
Chris Sharon, present.
Chehalis Generation Facility,
Jeremy Smith, present.
Columbia Generating Station, I was told that Katie Hall would be present. Is Katie Hall present? Moving on to Columbia Solar,
Discussion, present.
Goose Prairie Solar,
Elson Jeff, present.
and Ostria Solar.
Ryan Keaty, present.
And is there anybody present for the Council for the Environment?
Yuri Kroll and Sarah Reineveld, present.
Thank you, Chair. There is a quorum for all councils.
Thank you. We have the proposed agenda in front of us. Council members, is there a motion to adopt the proposed agenda?
Lenny Young, so moved.
Thank you. In a second.
Second.
Thank you, Council. All those in favor of adopting the agenda, please say aye.
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 Well, the agenda is adopted. Moving on to the meeting minutes, we have the February 19th monthly meeting minutes in front of us. Is there a motion to approve the monthly meeting minutes? May I have one?
Elizabeth Osborne, so moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Stacy Brewster, second.
Were there any corrections to the minutes before us? I did not have any immediate ones.
Mr. Chair, no edits. I'll just be abstaining because I missed that meeting.
Okay, with no corrections then, and a motion on the table to approve the minutes, all those in favor saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Minutes are approved. Moving on to our operational updates. The Kittitas Valley Wind Project is up first.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Chair Beckett, FSEC Council and staff. This is Jared Cassidy with EDP Renewables for the Kittitas Valley Wind Power Project. We had nothing non-routine to report for the period.
Thank you. Wild
Thank you.
Horse Wind?
Yes, thank you, Chair Beckett, council members and staff. For the month of February, I do not have any non-routine updates. However, I would like to update the council on the recent plane crash that occurred at Wild Horse on March 4th. On the evening of Tuesday, March 4th, a small private plane was reported missing to the Grant County and Kittitas County Sheriff's Departments, who began searching for the plane along the Grant County side of the Columbia River. At 8 a.m. on Wednesday, March 5th, the Kittitas County Sheriff and Search and Rescue arrived at Wild Horse to search for the missing plane in the area of the wind farm. PSE opened the Renewable Energy Center for the Incident Command staging area. And shortly after 9 a.m., the Wild Horse plant manager located the crashed plane on PSE-owned property on the north slope of Whiskey Dick Mountain at about 3,800 feet and approximately half a mile southwest of the Wild Horse substation and a quarter mile east of the Wild Horse solar facility. At around 9 a.m., a life flight helicopter landed at the crash site and found the pilot deceased. And for the remainder of the day, the Kittitas County Sheriff, the Kittitas County Coroner, FAA, and the NTSB conducted their investigation. It appears the pilot encountered a fast-moving storm that was traversing from west to east across Wild Horse. Wind gusts were documented at over 40 miles per hour with sleet and snow, reducing visibility to less than 1 mile. However, the NTSB investigation is ongoing, and we hope to learn more about the cause when their investigation is complete. There were no impacts to wind farm infrastructure or facilities from either the storm or the plane crash. On Friday, March 7th, the NTSB dispatched Interstate Aviation to remove the plane wreckage from the crash site. PSE contacted the Department of Ecology, and following removal of the wreckage, PSE dispatched geoengineers to evaluate the site for any spilled fuel or fluids. And based on visual and field screening observations, the spill from the plane crash impacted an area of approximately 550 yards and was mostly contained on 2 to 3 feet of snow and ice. On Tuesday, March 11th, geoengineers, U.S. Ecology, the spill cleanup contractor, and a cultural resource monitor from Puget Sound Energy arrived on site to further evaluate the extent of the spill and clean up what they could. A total of 47 bags of contaminated snow and ice was removed for transport and off-site disposal. Work efforts were conducted by hand to minimize the potential for ground disturbances. To further reduce the potential for soil disturbances, soil was not excavated or removed from the site. Based on observations and field screening results, it appears the soil immediately below the plane wreckage is impacted and will require additional action. In coordination with the Department of Ecology, geoengineers will be on site again when weather conditions improve to complete sampling for the delineation of impacted soil. At that time, erosion and sediment control measures will be installed to prevent any soil migration via stormwater from the impacted area, and a bioremediation solution will be applied to the impacted soil to aid in the breakdown of petroleum. Approximately 4 to 6 months following the application of the solution, performance soil samples will be obtained from the remediation area. These samples will be compared to state cleanup levels, and the need for further action will be evaluated. The cleanup plan has been communicated with the Department of Ecology as an independent remedial action to treat the petroleum contaminated soil at the crash site. The plan verification sampling will evaluate the effectiveness of the action to meet the cleanup standards under MTCA for unrestricted land use. Additionally, the plan takes into consideration the need to minimize disturbance to the local environment, as well as state requirements for mitigating threats to human health and the environment. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that the council may have.
Thank you, Ms. Galbraith, for the very thorough update, and I think reflective of not only terrible circumstances, our condolences, obviously, to the family of the pilot and others involved, but just the list of details that go with any operating event of any kind. So we appreciate your thoroughness. Are there other questions or comments from the council? Okay, hearing none. Thank you, Ms. Galbraith. Moving on
All right,
to
thank you.
Chehalis. Jeremy Smith.
Good afternoon, Chair Beckett, council members, and FSEC staff. This is Jeremy Smith, the operations manager representing the Chehalis Generation Facility. There are no non-routine items to report for this reporting period.
Thank you. Moving on to Grace Harbor Energy Center.
Good afternoon, Chair Beckett, council members, and FSEC staff. It's Chris Sharon, plant manager, Grace Harbor Energy Center. I also have no non-routine items to report for the month of February.
Thank you very much. Moving on to Columbia Solar.
Good afternoon, Chair Beckett, FSEC staff. This is Thomas Cushing for Columbia Solar. There are no non-routine updates to report.
Very well. Moving on to Columbia Generating Station and WNP 1 and 4. Not sure if our Energy Northwest representative is with us.
I am here. I apologize for the technical difficulties. Good
No
afternoon, Chair
problem.
Beckett and FSEC Council. This is Katie Hall on behalf of Energy Northwest, Columbia Generating Station, and Washington Nuclear Projects 1 and 4 for March 2025. We are currently gearing up for our biannual outage to perform refueling and maintenance at Columbia Generating Station. The start date will be April 11th, and our target end date is June 6th. And if you'd like some additional information, the following slide has our fact sheet for the outage. There you go. That is all to report for Columbia Generating Station. For WNP 1 and 4, the Industrial Development Complex landfill closure bidding is closed and a contract has been awarded.
Excellent. Are there any questions, comments? Hearing none. Thank you, Ms. Hall.
Thank you.
Goose Prairie Solar.
Good afternoon, everybody. For the month of February, the site experienced approximately 6.5 gigawatts of energy. In terms of other operation and maintenance activities, we did have 4 inverter units that we did a breaker swap on to fix and get back up and running. In addition to that, several of our inverter units are experiencing several faults requiring a power cycle to clear. It's unsure at this time what's causing the faults. We've expressed this concern with SunGrow, and they've informed us that it's likely due to a firmware issue. So we're waiting on them to provide an update on the firmware, and hopefully that solves our issues there. On top of that, the site completed a series of voltage tests, frequency tests, and reactive power tests at the site. From environmental and safety compliance, no major items to report there. Thank you.
Thank you. And for the record, I believe again that was Nelson Gia. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Sorry.
Thank you. No worries. All right, moving on to Austria Solar. Mr. Keeney.
Yes. Good afternoon, everybody. Just quick update on construction status. We mobilized February 24th and started the installation of our SWIP measurements and BMPs and have kicked off the dirt work. Since finished both our laydown yards. And then in March 7th, we discovered a 55-gallon drum with roughly 2 gallons of liquid in it. We called a remediation company out to investigate, and they have since remediated all the I guess dirt that was impacted by that, and everything was reported to FSEC. Had a kickoff meeting with FSEC on February 19th, and have since had an inspection performed by Lindell with WSP. Other than that, we're on track to finish construction as planned.
Very well. Thank you. Moving on to Wautoma Solar. Mr. Caputo.
Thank you, Chair Beckett and council members. For the record, this is Lance Caputo, siting specialist assigned to the Wautoma Solar Energy Project. Energix Renewable Development USA, the certificate holder of the Wautoma Solar Project, has completed its 30-day requirements stipulated under our site certification agreement. We do not anticipate any further activities until 90 days prior to construction. This project will be removed from the council's agenda until activity resumes. May I answer any questions?
None. Moving on to Carriger Solar.
Thank you, Chair Beckett and council members. For the record, this is Joanne Snarski, the siting specialist for the proposed Carriger Solar facility in Klickitat County. Staff have been working with the applicant to develop potential mitigation strategies to minimize impacts to traditional cultural properties, or TCPs, identified to us by the Yakima Nation Cultural Resources Program. As a reminder, in February 2024, Cypress Creek Renewables submitted an extension request where they acknowledged the need to allow for the additional time needed by the Yakima Nation to complete the TCP study and review outstanding SEPA threshold items. Now that the study has been completed, we are working through potential options for mitigation. Staff plans to discuss the SEPA threshold determination at the April council meeting. The SEPA threshold determination, once made, will require a public comment period, and discussions with the Yakima Nation are also ongoing. Currently, the applicant has requested to extend the application review period from April 1st, 2025 to May 21st, 2025. Staff do not believe all the necessary SEPA work can be completed within an additional month and will continue to work with the applicant to develop a more appropriate extension timeline. However, currently staff requests the council approve this extension for the Carriger Solar LLC application for one additional month to May 1st, 2025, to allow staff and the applicant to develop a schedule for the remaining work. Finally, for the record, we posted the extension request on our website to allow for public comment between March 12th and 16th and received 7 comments. All comments expressed their opposition to the project. Some expressed safety concerns with the proposed battery storage system, the loss of rural and agricultural nature of the area, and the use of unsustainable materials. May I answer any questions?
Thank you for the update. I would just make one comment, just confirming that the public comments have been certainly distributed to council and are part of our agenda packet. Are there further comments or questions by the council?
Yes, this is Matt Childs from Klickitat County. Just as clarification, so we're expecting this is a 1-month extension, but there will be another extension request coming up soon once you better figure out the timetable of how much extension they're really going to need to figure things out. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. May I ask then of our council a motion to approve and extend the processing time of the Carriger Solar LLC application for site certification from April 1st to May 1st, 2025.
Lenny Young, so moved.
Thank you.
This is Nate, second.
A motion and a second to approve the site certification extension. All those in favor, or any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Motion is approved. Moving on then to our other updates. Thank you, Ms. Snarsky. For the Horse Heaven Wind Farm, Amy Moon.
Good afternoon, Council Chair Beckett and FSEC council members. For the record, this is Amy Moon reporting on the Horse Heaven Wind Project. The Pre-Operational Technical Advisory Group, or PTAG, we say PTAG, has been established and have begun meeting regularly to review and provide technical advice on wildlife and wildlife habitat management, mitigation, and project design plans. The PTAG attended a site tour of the Horse Heaven Wind Project to better understand the project, wildlife habitat, and the surrounding Horse Heaven Hills. The site tour was led by the certificate holder on March 13th. The PTAG will continue to meet regularly to review and provide technical advice on the development and implementation of pre-construction compliance activities and documents produced by the certificate holder related to wildlife and habitat. Does the council have any questions?
None. Thank you, Ms. Moon. Moving then on to the Hop Hill Solar Project. I believe John Barnes will provide the update.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair Beckett and council members. For the record, this is John Barnes, FSEC staff for the Hop Hill application. We continue to coordinate the review of an application with our contractor, contracted agencies, and tribal governments. There are no further updates at this time. Are there any questions?
None. Thank you, and let's move then to the Wallula Gap project update also.
Thank you, Chair Beckett and council members. For the record, this is John Barnes, FSEC staff for the Wallula Gap application. FSEC received on March 4th, 2025, a project review letter from the Department of Ecology requesting access to the site to conduct further wetland review and determination. FSEC has coordinated with the applicant and Ecology to conduct the site review scheduled for April 15th, 2025. We continue to coordinate and review the application with our contractor, contracted agencies, and tribal governments. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Barnes. Any
Thank you.
questions? Okay, thank you. Moving on then to the GoldenEye Best project. Ms. Snarsky.
Yes, thank you, Chair Beckett. Is that me?
Evidently not, but Eli saved the day, so. credit-
Okay, I'll continue. Again, this is Joanne Snarsky, the siting specialist for the proposed GoldenEye battery energy storage facility in Skagit County. Staff are continuing to work with our partnering agencies to review and seek further information on the application for site certification. We held a meeting with staff from WDFW and agreed to scheduling a site visit. We are currently scheduled for April 9th for our site visit. Also attending will be representatives from the Skagit River Cooperative and the Upper Skagit Indian Tribe. Finally, we are preparing a third data request for the applicant. This information is necessary to support our SEPA threshold determination. I have no further updates.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the council on the GoldenEye Best project? Okay, hearing none. We will move on to, I believe, our final action and most important, I would say. I believe we have a very special person as well as a welcome person here with us today, Chair Drew of FSEC. And it's my pleasure to ask for a motion in a moment to read a resolution into the record. And let me just first say I would like to personally thank Chair Drew for her very dedicated and long-standing service to the people of Washington, including while at FSEC, but certainly in many other capacities, and I'm confident that certainly will only continue. So with that, may I have a motion from the council to put the resolution honoring Chair Drew and her service at FSEC into the record?
Stacy Brewster, so moved.
Eli Levitt, second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to act upon the resolution number 355 that I will read into the record. And so because that service is so impressive, it is a couple pages, and I'm going to be pleased to read that in the record. And then if council wishes to make or others comments after we've read this and before we vote, certainly we'll take that up. And with that, I'll begin. Commending services of FSEC Chair Kathleen Drew. Whereas Kathleen Drew is appointed by Governor Inslee to serve on the Washington State Energy Facility Site Evaluation Council, presiding as chair effective January 16, 2018. Whereas Kathleen Drew drew her term with great distinction as the first official FSEC chair until January 16, 2025. Whereas Kathleen Drew brought her leadership and political acumen to the development of HB 1812, which established FSEC as an independent agency. And whereas Kathleen Drew testified regarding FSEC on several occasions before the House and Senate over multiple legislative sessions, And whereas Kathleen Drew expertly guided council members in gathering information and balancing the various impacts and mitigation measures and arriving at clear decisions and recommendations for the governor on a number of projects. And whereas Kathleen Drew led approximately 120 regular and special council meetings as an active listener and thoughtfully and carefully reviewed thousands of pages of documents related to SEPA environmental reviews and associated public comments. And whereas Kathleen Drew ably and objectively represented the interests of the people of the state of Washington on the council, providing clear and thoughtful leadership to the council and the FSEC staff. And whereas Kathleen Drew demonstrated her expert leadership skills during the review of applications and preparation of site certification agreements for 6 clean energy projects, including Columbia Solar, Goose Prairie Solar, High Top Solar, Austria Solar, Horse Heaven Wind, and Watoma Solar. And whereas Kathleen Drew's service as chair marked several significant council milestones, including A, FSEC separation from the Utilities and Transportation Commission and establishment as an independent agency, B, the first expedited processing of an application for the Columbia Solar Project, and C, consideration of the largest clean energy project, wind, solar, and battery storage, in the council's history and within the state of Washington with the Horse Heaven Wind Project. And whereas Kathleen Drew's leadership was always characterized by outstanding preparation, thoughtful questions, and attention to detail in adjudicative processes and council deliberations, and whereas Kathleen Drew provided exemplary service on the council and meaningfully engaged with FSEC staff and fellow council members on all council decision-making processes, and whereas Kathleen Drew provided leadership through the Transmission Corridor Work Group, resulting in the passage of SB 5165 that will help lead to expanding transmission capacity in the state and helping to meet urgent clean energy goals. And whereas Kathleen Drew presided over the council's first adjudication limited to land use consistency and preemption, and whereas Kathleen Drew engaged in FSEC's first formal government-to-government consultation meetings with the Confederated Tribes and Bands of the Yakama Nation and Confederated Tribes of the Colville Reservation, and whereas Kathleen Drew ably represented the council as a member of the governor's Natural Resources, Climate, and Energy Subcabinet. Now therefore be it resolved that the Energy Facility Site Evaluation Council hereby recognizes Kathleen Drew's outstanding, unwavering, and faithful contribution to the council's siting and regulatory activities, and gratefully expresses its sincere gratitude for the commitment, dedication, and effort she has shown over the past 7 years. Dated this 19th day of March, 2025, be undersigned by the Washington State Energy Facility Site Evaluation Council. So again, it's my honor to read this into the record on behalf of the FSEC Council and the staff. With that, let me turn this to my fellow council members to see if there's any further comments before we ultimately act upon this resolution.
Chair, I see that Lenny Young has his hand raised.
Thank you. Mr. Young.
Yeah, Kathleen, I just wanted to express how much I have appreciated over the years your wise, considerate, and always positive approach to the council's deliberations and decision-making. I learned a lot from you, and I wish you many successes and much enjoyment going forward, both with your career and in life. Thank you.
Very well said. Thank you, Mr. Young. Are there any other comments? I don't think there's any questions for you, Chair Drew, as far as questioning the solid record.
Mr. Young's comments were exactly what I would also like to echo. Thank you so much for all that you have shared with me during my time on the council and the service you've provided. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brewster. Any others?
This is Elizabeth Osborne. I just want to say thank you, Chair Drew, for your leadership.
Thank you. All right. It's the last call, but getting there, I think. Any other comments? They're most welcome, so happy to make time as needed.
Mr. Chair, I don't know the formality of this, but I'm wondering if we don't do our approval through a round of applause.
Well, I believe in voting and
Okay.
applause.
Okay, that's right. That's fine. Yeah, that's what I meant. Very
Thank
good.
you. All right. Well, hearing no further comments and discussion, with all those in favor, please say resolution number 355 as read into the record. Please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
I don't think I'm calling opposed, but I may have to. Opposed? Hearing none. Okay. Resolution is approved, and let's signify by celebrating. Round of applause. Well, thank you all, and thank you, Chair Drew, for honoring us with your presence today. It's our honor to have you here, and of course, most importantly, honor your distinguished service records. Again, are there any other comments or business before? Bumpus.
Chair Beckett and council members, thank you. For the record, this is Sonia Bumpus. I echo all the council member comments, wishing Kathleen Drew well and lots of joy and success in her future endeavors, and she'll be greatly missed. She is greatly missed. The other announcement I wanted to make is that among the FSEC staff, Stuart Henderson is retiring this month, so we wanted to let council members know. If you'd like to wish him well, he's here today in the office, and staff celebrated his retirement from the state earlier today. So Stuart's been with us for many years, and one of the things I wanted to acknowledge is that Stu was here and really was a leading character in the development of the pre-application process that we utilize now. And while it's still evolving and we're still realizing all of the things that come with it and finalizing it, Stu was really a key in leading the development of that and helping us find ways to streamline the application review process. So I know I'm not alone in that. I'll miss Stu and all of the contributions that he brings to FSEC. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Bumpus, and on behalf of the council, Stuart, thank you, as has been said, and just want to acknowledge that. Are there other comments, council, on the note? Okay, well, thank you again, Stuart, very much for your dedicated service. Thank you all for participating in today's meeting, and at 2:03, I will gavel this meeting to conclusion. Thank you.